Hello, serial viewers. Hi, YouTube.
Hi.
Hi. Jeremy wasn't making a noise that time. I timed that badly. I'll tell you what, I'll edit in the noise he made earlier. Here.
It's pretty close, right?
I've started, I don't know if you've noticed, serial viewers, or Jeremy, that when the actual episode goes live, a version of it is posted to YouTube as well now.
What?
Well, when I post the main episode, the actual episode, not the YouTube video, a version of it goes onto YouTube.
Oh, so the podcast is available on YouTube.
It is. It's got a nice little graphic, auto-generated graphic, which I've got no control over.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm going to look it up now and break the internet connection.
Is it hot at your end, Jeremy?
I am all right. It's not super warm down here at the moment. It was yesterday. How warm is it up there with you guys?
It's been about 23 degrees.
The thermometer at
We
the
had a high
moment.
of 17 yesterday.
The thermometer in the room says it's 25 degrees in this room.
Yeah, it would
got
be
the
up
heating
here. We haven't had the heating on for weeks.
Was I not supposed to turn it on?
But when I drove to Cambridge, so at 10 to 6,
Don't forget you're being
yesterday.
videoed. Telling people where you're driving.
At 10 to 6 when I left here, it was 9 degrees. And when I got to my place of work, an hour later, halfway to my place of work, an hour later, it was 3 degrees. I can't believe how much, it had dropped going inland.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So, they said
It
was
got
a
back
heat
up
wave,
again. It went back up again because it was like 23 degrees by the time I left work at 3:30.
All right, people. This is riveting conversation. Is everybody ready?
Hang on, I'm looking up serial viewing. It's us.
It is us.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've done one.
Well, yeah. I've only just started doing it. I did it.
I've
It's only
started
just
putting
figure out how to do it.
I did it for Mary Mungo and Midge. I'm not going back and doing the others.
Yes, I
That would
see.
just break something. But from now on, it will be available on YouTube as well.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start audio recording,
Okay,
Uh-oh.
and it will be very nice.
I'm checking my levels because I adjusted things, and I'm further away from my mic.
I know.
Hello.
I can't see it tonight.
Yes. Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
You are?
It's me.
You just got louder.
Just then.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I increased the gain on my input. As long as I don't do a Henry laugh, we should be fine.
Gordon's alive.
Are we going to clap?
Yeah, hang on. Oh wait.
Not that it serves any purpose.
Makes us look like monkeys.
Yeah.
I'm not. I always count us in. Someone else count us in.
1,
7.
2, 3.
I didn't. I didn't know what we were clapping on.
I clap closer than you guys.
We always do it on 3.
Right.
What's 1, 2, 3.
Kind of worked then.
Yeah, that did kind of work. Okay. Right, I've got the right theme tune.
Yay.
I've got the right theme tune queued up this time.
Your favourite.
It's so good. Right, is everyone ready? You ready,
Yeah.
Jennifer? Ready, Jeremy?
Alright.
All right, radio studio audience. Excellent. No sound, perfect, just what we want. Right, I'm going to start it. It's time for serial viewing. Hello and welcome. Good evening. How is everyone tonight? Joining me as always is Jeremy.
Ulysses.
And Jennifer.
Yeah, hello. I didn't really know how to follow that. I was going to say,
How
I couldn't remember the next line.
how could you follow that?
Exactly.
It's no one else could do the things you do.
Oh, I always thought it was what I sang earlier, which I knew was wrong.
This week we watched the 80s classic Ulysses 31. It ran from 1981 to 1982 for a total of 26 episodes and a single unaired pilot. To return home and restore his cursed crew, a great hero of space and his child companions must find the kingdom of Hades against all evil opposition. As always, we watched episode 1, titled Vengeance of the Gods. On his way back to Earth from the planet Troy, Ulysses happens upon a mysterious uncharted planet. A bright ball of energy invades the Odyssey and takes Telemachus back to the planet. The population is blind, but they kidnap children to sacrifice them, taking their energy and feeding into the great Cyclops that helps them to see. Upon destroying the great Cyclops, Ulysses is banished by the gods Poseidon and Zeus to the universe of Olympus, cursed to wander uncharted regions, until he finds the kingdom of Hades. Only then will he be allowed to return to Earth. So it's the Greek tragedy, really updated to the 31st century. This was one of mine. I have very, very fond memories of this show from when I was young. I watched it slavishly. I'll let you know whether I think it stood up or not. Had you?
I'm curious.
No, I'm fairly certain Jennifer had heard of this one. Do you remember it from your childhood?
Yes. Yes, but I was working it out that when it came on, I would have only have been 5, 6.
You say that, but it was first released in 1981, but it was a French-Japanese production, and it was released in France first. It didn't make it until the UK until the mid-80s.
Oh, that would make sense then.
Yes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And the whole Japanese, French, and yes, that totally makes sense too.
Jeremy, have you ever heard of?
Only from you, Henry.
Only from me. That seems to be the standard answer.
Only from serial viewing.
How? That's one of the great paradoxes of this show, because it is fantastic, and it is. If you remember it, you remember it, but nobody seems to. It's a very specific slice in time. There doesn't seem to be much going on about it apart from that. Well,
Nobody's heard anything.
Yeah. I mean, this is ripe for a remake.
Well, I don't think it needs it, personally. But
Well, usually I would tell you the plot of the show, but the really detailed plot at the beginning, that's it. That's the whole episode. Telemachus is Ulysses' son, if you don't know the original story. It's a remaking of the Ulysses and the Journey of the Odyssey from the Greek tragedies. Is it a tragedy? Would you call it tragedy? A tragedy?
it's an epic, isn't it?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's what it is. It's a classic. It's a classical story updated.
Yeah. Classic.
Yes. Let's talk about the spaceships. I want to talk about spaceships.
Oh, Henry's nerding out already. You can see it. He's bouncing up and down in his chair.
The Odyssey is cool.
I think what I put here was this spaceship is pretty fucking cool.
See, it is.
It is pretty cool.
when they're coming out of the space, I think that was a spaceport there at the beginning, isn't it?
The
space station.
The Greek helmet, shaped like a space station.
It was a helmet?
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
what.
If you look
shape
at
it was.
the shape of it, it is a classic Greek helmet. Which
I
didn't
didn't.
see.
Which
I
made me
didn't see
giggle
that.
a little bit.
But yeah, when they're leaving and it's coming out, and I was like, that's pretty freaking cool.
It's quite a unique. I love it because it's a unique design, and it doesn't look
It's an
like.
eye, isn't it?
Yeah, it is essentially.
Yeah.
It's a unique design. It's not all like most like cool cartoon spaceships. Not all sleek. It doesn't look like it should be able to fly in an atmosphere. It's just this big, odd-shaped, cool thing.
It's like a deep space Hulk.
Yes. That's a reference that only some people get. The reason it's that shape, I've got to get this right. Where is it?
Okay.
It was the reason that shape. It was inspired by the logo of the channel that originally ordered the show, which was France 3, and it was part of the deal that they would help finance it if they could have the ship look a bit like the logo. So,
Oh wow.
if you are following us on Instagram or Facebook, I will find a picture and I will put both the Odyssey and the France 3's logo up there so you can compare, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really familiar because obviously being in French exchanges in the 80s and in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember seeing that on the French TV.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's a great idea.
I like that.
Interesting.
It's a good idea because the other ships in the show, I mean, they had that stupid little scooter thing that zoomed around on, which is fine, I guess. It's a big ship. You need somewhere to get around it. The other ships that you saw, they were cool, but they were a bit generic. It was a bit,
Yeah.
there it is.
I mean, we didn't really see much else,
no.
to be honest.
Well, there was the red
Apart from,
shuttle thing.
yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
it looked like a bad guys thing.
It did, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is that the one that Ulysses drives and he's like, there's 4 seats and he's the only one in it?
Yes, but it can separate. It can go a bit like
Like the Fantastic
other shows
Four
where it
thing?
happens. It can come. Yeah, there you go. It can come apart and then you can fly different sections.
Oh.
But that's still cool.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was a cool looking ship.
Ulysses himself. Okay, so we'll get. This show was quite heavily influenced by a lot of science fiction of the time. So there's a bit of Space Odyssey in there. There's a bit of Star Trek. There's quite a lot of Star Wars.
Yes, there is.
Who does Ulysses remind you of?
Jesus.
Nope. Try again.
No, that's who he reminds me of. So I don't know about anybody else. Obi-Wan
Kenobi.
Oh, okay, right, I see.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Jesus.
Jesus, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'd never thought about it before, but going into this, I was thinking about the influences, and he came on the screen and said, "Oh, it's Obi-Wan. Oh, he's got a lightsaber, which is also a ray. It's also it's also a laser pistol. You didn't get to see that in this episode, but it's also a cool laser pistol.
I did,
Kind of a
but
Star Trek thing.
he has a light sword.
Yes, a light sword, a saber made of light. Yeah. So Ulysses is the strong, heroic, flowing hair. He's got a great fringe thing going on there.
Yes.
Bit of an epic moustache.
Epic. Yes. Oh, moustache count.
Hey.
I think he gets bonus points because that's such an epic moustache.
Did anybody else have a mustache? Did what's his face in the beginning have a mustache? as
No,
well?
I think someone at the birthday part at the beginning had one.
Yeah.
but
His mate did, didn't it? Not
Yeah.
Colin.
Zeus did. Zeus did.
Zeus.
Zeus did.
full,
Yeah.
full beard.
He was more beard than God.
Yeah, he looked more like Dumbledore.
Usually, you shall travel the universe, and 50 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah.
So, what did you think to the theme song, Jeremy, as our resident music head? I don't know what else you'd
It
call it.
was cool.
That was a
No,
very.
it was freaking awesome.
I was gonna say that was a very unenthusiastic. Yeah, it was fine, I guess.
No, I put down that this theme song is fantastic because it is fantastic.
It is. That's what
It is punchy and to the point and very catchy and awesome. It was, to be honest, it was the prime inspiration for the new serial viewing theme.
Was
So-
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
that was
know
the one I was listening to the most.
I liked the narration at the beginning because that guy's got a great voice.
Yes.
There's a lot of it, but it's still cool. That's fine.
Mm.
And then it goes into this kick-ass Ulysses. I love it.
I like the beginning. The beginning synthesizer is great. Like, boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. It's great.
The score for a cartoon was used quite effectively. I don't know if you noticed, because you had you had some orchestral stuff in there. So you had a bit of classical. Then you had some proper 80s wailing rock guitar moments.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a bit
Setting
towards
out.
the end where Ulysses comes back from the engine room where he's been fixing the iris, and everyone's gone. And suddenly there was no music. There was no background music at all. It was just it was just echoing silence to, reflect his, oh no, I'm alone. Which I thought was pretty good. Actually, for
Also, yeah, the fight music heavily inspired by Star Wars. I heard a lot of Star Wars in this
I'm glad
music.
you said that, because that leads me to one of my pieces of trivia.
Hey.
There was a court ruling against the international producers of Ulysses 31, which was Heimsaban. They were sued due to copyright infringement by Lucasfilm Limited.
Well, yeah, there was a bit that thought it was genuinely Star Wars.
Yep. The Q battle theme, or Ulysses Terrasse le Cyclope in French, had a cue directly from The Empire Strikes Back by John Williams.
Yes.
Heard on the film, on the soundtrack, as The Battle in the Snow. It was deemed that existing prints of the show could use this piece of music after damages were paid, but any subsequent soundtrack re-releases would later admit the theme, as royalties would have to go to their respective owners of that music. So yes, it was heavily stolen. I mean, inspired by Star Wars.
Yeah, even the instrumentation, I noticed it sounded a lot like it, and it immediately triggered in my mind that I was from there. I mean, music court cases are hard, to sort out. So,
well, they weren't.
I'm impressed that they were allowed to keep using it.
The actual version used in the series isn't actually from the movie. It's part of the disco remix of the Battle of the Snow, taken from the 10-inch vinyl album Miko Plays Music from The Empire Strikes Back, which was released in 1980. So it was a remix of an original.
Oh,
Interesting.
I didn't get that at all.
Did you not?
You're not nerd enough.
I definitely heard Star Wars in it, but I already knew about it before I watched the show, so I was actually listening out for it.
Fair enough.
This was as I said earlier, it was a French-Japanese production between Dick Audiovisual and the TMS Entertainment Company, which was a Japanese, like the Tokyo movie something. It was It was a
Sorry.
it was an older company. TMS Entertainment had been first established in 1946. Those Japanese companies like to stick around. It was created. The show was actually created by Dick founder Jean Chalopin. So it was originally a French language, which you could tell because some of the dubbing, there were some of the sentences because they were trying to keep. They didn't want any over them. They didn't want someone speaking when their mouth stopped moving or that kind of thing. So they were trying to jam the sentence in. So you'd get lots of, okay, we're going to go do this, and then we're going to do the thing, and then everything's going to be great.
Yes.
Which was slightly off-putting.
I literally wrote my fifth sentence down as, guys, please take a breath.
I just put it's
Stop talking so much.
Obviously dubbed from not English.
Yes.
It was known in Japan as Space Legend Ulysses 31, and in France as Ulysses 31, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but only 12 episodes were ever aired in Japan, which seems a bit odd.
Maybe they're longer.
No, they're all half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Well, 24 minutes, half hour with adverts. It was going to originally be a 52 episode epic. It was going to be the same storyline. They were just going to go to much more places, but they only ever made 26 due to production. All I got was production difficulties. I'm making bunny ears around production difficulties. The only reason I could find was the original director, a man called Tadao Nagahama. He was all lined up to direct the show, and he died after the very first episode was completed. And that, and that kind of put a spanner in the works. And when it was first released, it wasn't terribly well received. Make of that as
I find that with things that are well written, unless they're about real world problems, they're never well received. Like, not never like extremely well received, you know. I don't know. It felt to me, this show felt like it was well written, like it was someone genuinely liked it. It's like you can tell, like we've watched enough of these kids shows that you can tell when they're cash grabs,
Yes.
when they're strange psychotic dreams, and when they're written by people who actually have a good concept and they want to embellish upon it.
Yeah,
And
the passion.
Yeah, there was a lot of passion with this one, I felt.
Whilst I was doing some reading of this, I got lots of this is one of many pieces of art to be based on the original Greek tragedies, which I get, but I can't think of any other children's shows, cartoons, off the top of my head. They seem fairly unique.
Probably like the story, like the actual story, just rehashed in a different characters and such.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors, Jason and the Argonauts, and things like that.
Don't give Jason the Wheeled Warriors too much credit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jason the Wheeled Warriors was absolutely created to sell toys.
I remember Transformers being in ancient Greece.
I remember King Arthur. Oh wait, no, that was a shitty movie.
Which one?
And there you hit the problem with the Transformers movies.
They're all right.
They exist. I'll give you that. There was a pilot episode made that was never aired. It was only ever it was made in Japan and it was in Japanese. It wasn't recorded in French or anything else. It's never been shown on TV or released on a home video format. It had a different soundtrack and very, very different character and ship designs. A little bit more like GoBots and stuff. It was very... I'm glad they didn't...
Very Gundam.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't stick with that.
Yes.
With what they did. You can
I
find
feel like they could have easily have gone into that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It is online if you'd like to go view it. It's in the original Japanese. I'm sure there's versions with subtitles out there.
I might do.
Speaking of which, I would be kind of interested to watch this in the original Japanese or French. And I would also I don't believe what we were getting literal translations of what was being said. I think and I would be interested to know what they were actually saying.
I also don't believe that we were getting the whole of the cartoon either.
Yeah, no, that
it felt massively chopped.
It did, but that's how they were originally released. They were made as half-hour episodes and released as half-hour episodes.
Yeah,
I feel like the story was consistent enough. I mean, I don't know why they would have. I guess it still counts as a pilot, but if it's a completely different story, because this is a good enough pilot. You know,
yes,
I don't.
Although the only thing I found a bit
yeah.
jarring about this one is that the narrator at the beginning, he literally describes the episode you're going to watch, because that is the history to the show, that is the setup, and you're now going to go. They just defeated the.
Would that have happened in the original?
Yeah.
First viewing of the first episode.
Yes. Yeah. This apart from the languages, it's not changed.
Okay. Maybe they just couldn't be asked to cut it off the first one.
Well, I mean, consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting to watch them. I was expecting to watch him already have done all that, and this was his first adventure.
I've watched this religiously as a child, and I still don't remember that first episode. I don't remember. Yeah, like you said, I was expecting just to go straight into his adventures.
Mysterious first episode.
So we've got Ulysses, who's awesome. What's everyone's opinions of my son Telemachus?
It's just as a kid. We don't really get to see a lot of him.
I'm sure he has the Luke Skywalker arc at some point.
He's a bit like the kids from Thundercats and other children in cartoons. He's old enough to be brave and responsible, but he's still cheeky, I guess.
I didn't think he was as annoying as a lot of them.
No. What did you think of the little robot?
No. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't like comedy sidekicks, but I disliked the girl more than I disliked him for that reason. She seemed more like a sidekick to me than the robot did.
No,
Maybe
she's got
'cause-
special powers.
Yeah,
She's not the sidekick.
I know, but I didn't dislike No as much as I thought I was going to.
No.
It was
No,
more
no.
of his voice that irritated me than anything else.
Do you know, I think that's one of the checklists when they're making these characters. Okay, goofy, funny, gotta have an annoying voice. Schnarf.
Really, yeah. Like a brutal voice that young kids really get.
Yes.
Or like intrigues them.
I want a cage fight between all of the sidekicks.
That escalated quickly.
It did. I want No in a cage with Schnarf and Urko from He-Man.
And what's her face from Jace?
Oh, what was her? Yeah, she can get no. What was his name? The little robot.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
cool.
but he was cool.
Yeah, we liked him. Yeah, we all kick ass. Then,
Yeah.
wasn't he? He's got a lot.
He was the best part about that. I can't remember his name now. I'll find out.
It's gonna annoy me not remembering that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they were all. They all had way more emotion and. What did I put here? I can't even read my own writing. His wife. She's completely devoid of all emotion.
His wife.
Or the woman, the only woman in it.
On the crew.
Yeah.
that's
the
okay.
crew. I thought it was his
yeah.
wife.
No, his wife's back on Earth.
Her voice.
Wow, you
Oh.
missed the bit at the beginning. If he doesn't return to Earth, he's been away so long that she can then divorce him or find a new husband.
Yeah. I got that, but I thought that was. Oh, I didn't realise it was because he's been away. I must have completely misunderstood.
Yeah, she's just part of the crew.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. That character, she was the most uninterested voice actress
Yeah.
they picked.
Well, Nestor, his buddy that he kept
She-
talking to on the ship, there wasn't much to him either.
No.
It's like, well, these guys are going to all float off into the ship at some point, so we're not going to invest too much time into them.
Yeah, literally, like, they turned them to stone. They're already pretty much stone at this point already.
Yeah. The computer. She had a really
Sexy?
not memorable.
voice?
No, familiar voice.
Sensual
But-
voice.
But she didn't. Her name didn't come up or anything when I was looking. But now I think about it, IMD has probably got all the original like French actors,
Yeah.
and there's so trying to find the English who dubbed over the English.
Do you reckon that she was a slight inspiration for GLaDOS? Along with Hal, you know.
Not psychopathic enough.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
It did make me laugh. So they go through the whole thing. They're getting sucked into the universe of Olympus, and they're getting sucked into a black hole. And then you got the wonderful animation of effect of you can see the ship moving through space towards the black hole, and then Ulysses goes, "Maximum anti-attraction force, go!"
Yeah.
Which did make me laugh. And then you could they literally move the picture of the spaceship backwards. You can kind of see it sliding across the background. It's like, oh, it's going backwards. Oh no, it's going forwards again. That was very funny. That did make me laugh.
Oh yeah.
What did you guys think of the
Oon.
animation? Oon rules.
Oon was his name. She has no idea.
Just say Oon rules.
He was
No,
the
what's
little
he
knight
from?
Jason the Word Warriors.
in Jace.
He's the best thing in Jason the Word Warriors, apart from the ending.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
theme
annoying
song.
sidekick, annoying character that's supposed to be a relief in Dungeons and Dragons?
Uni
Oh, that's it. That stupid unicorn.
can go in the bloody cage fight.
Yeah. I hate that unicorn.
Oon versus the unicorn.
We're not a fan of comedy sidekicks.
Unless they're voiced by great actors.
Oh, unless they're Oon.
Like, yeah, or Oon.
Perhaps we should hold like once we finish this series and we've got a few under the belt. Perhaps we should hold like a cage match with like randomly pick people, and then we get people to vote on who would win a fight between the two of them. And we have
A tournament.
Yeah, yes, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. We should totally do that. I'd enjoy doing that, even if no one else would.
Henry would vote in to win always.
It depends who was up against. Who would beat him? So, what did you guys think of the animation?
Very 80s.
It was very 80s. It was very.
Yeah, it felt almost late 70s Battle of the Planets.
I was just about to say that's why I thought it had some Japanese or
because
whatever influence, because it was very Battle of the Planets.
It's got the really high detail but low resolution background stuff, like the ship, and then the cartoons are all like low resolution. And like the juxtaposition is so massive.
It was very, very Japanese anime style.
Yeah,
it was obvious that was a Japanese animation house. So I thought the animation was quite smooth. So we've done the girl. Can anyone remember the girl's name? The little blue girl.
But you just said what her name was.
Cora?
I didn't say what. I don't.
Cora.
I don't know what her name is.
Something.
And do you think
Hang on, let me find out.
Do you think she was there for the girls?
Yes.
You do? Yeah. Okay. No argument there. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, I do.
100%. Yes. Was she?
I don't know. I assume that's what I thought. He's like, oh yeah, character for the girls. Let's get everybody.
But it's also setting them up because he's going to be trapped on the ship with the two kids and a robot.
Yes.
So
Yumi.
You've got to have that
Yumi.
somebody.
Yumi. Yeah.
You and me.
Yumi.
You have Ulysses, which is Yoroshizu. Teramachus, which is Teramaku. And Yumi, which is Yumi.
Yeah, so you've got to have something for, what was it? Teriyaki to Telemachus to. No, I'm gonna go with teriyaki. That's better. To bounce off of, to play with, to be a kid with.
I suppose, yeah.
But it's also they're kind of like the same age. They're a boy and a girl. I don't know if that smacks of. Are we reminding somebody, who Obi-Wan had to look after?
He's the Luke Skywalker analog. So he's an annoying shit who just wants to go to Tosha Station.
Yeah, and then that's Leia. She's the one that's got the brains and the magic.
Yeah, sounds about right.
She's got very convenient powers. Be able to transmit telepathy. She's basically a cerebro.
Yeah.
She can just make you send your brainwaves out to anybody you want in the universe, apparently.
Yeah, just start talking and I shall.
She has some other magic stuff as well. It's not.
She does. Well, she's a bit of a MacGuffin. Later on, if they we've written into a corner, how are we going to get out of this? Oh, she can do that. She can make a hole appear in the wall. Brilliant. We'll go with that one.
If you look at your characters, you've got your anti-hero, which is Ulysses, and then you've got the kid who's like his traveling thing, and then you've got your hero. Well, he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be there. Those bloody god, they're assholes. He was defending himself against Poseidon's stupid octopus, and then. No, but it's an octopus. When it comes out, it's got all the legs. Did you not see that?
It does look like a bit like an octopus.
Yeah, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. I take that back.
That's why I was like, oh, he's an octopus. Now I get the Poseidon.
Right.
Yeah, but Cyclops was made by Poseidon, wasn't he?
Wasn't he one of his sons?
Something like that. They were all probably.
It was all incestuous.
One of my favorite things about it is that Zeus was so horny that he would regularly travel down to Earth and then seduce women in various forms, because he couldn't just rock up as a man. So he'd go down and like turn himself into a magnificent white bull and have children with some woman. So Greek women.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the horns on that. Oh, geese. Oh. Yeah, you're all sick and twisted, ancient Greek women. Or is it just because he's a god? Or did he go down there?
Oh, there's
He went down there and he's like walking around with his hands on his head like horns. He's like, I'm a bull, and they all know. Yes, Zeus. Yes, you're a bull. Yes.
yes.
Oh,
Come on,
Zeus is
please
back.
don't
Yeah.
kill me, my village.
Fine, let's go behind the haystack. Yes, you totally look like a bull.
Moo.
Yeah. Haha, they will never understand who I am. Whoa. Sorry, I
In
interrupted you.
Homer's Odyssey, they are an uncivilized group of shepherds, the brethren of Polyphemus, encountered by Odysseus.
Right, yeah, sorry. Homer wasn't the person on it. Homer was the one relating the stories. I got confused for a second.
And I got confused because they did a Homer's Odyssey for The Simpsons, and I thought he was talking about Homer Simpson. Not
Yeah, so
the real Homer.
That's what he is named after, though.
So uncultured.
But
Yeah.
in a, like, for a reason, I can't remember why.
I have found
yeah.
this really, really cool picture
Of.
that some of them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll put that on.
Is this
I'll
is this re?
Oh,
It's kind of visible.
I'll put this up on. If you send that to me, I'll chuck it up on. On
If you're
social
listening to this, I'm sure this is fantastic content for you.
media. Listen to us as we show each other pictures.
Yeah, here, look at this.
it's very June-esque.
We're going to win an award for engaging content.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
can't really-
my
To
God.
be honest, yeah, a Dune style that would make Henry literally
Oh, I
wet
would. Yeah,
Yeah, live action Ulysses 31 would be pretty cool.
that would be so cool.
Well, you were talking about how you feel like this is crying out for a remake. How would you do it?
Denis Villeneuve, who's making the new Dune, and just make it like that. Give it to him. Tell him to run for it. It would be amazing. Maybe throw some Guillermo del Toro in there to do the creature designs.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, those two need to get together and make Ulysses 31 a 100-part series.
Netflix series.
Yeah,
Amazon series.
hour long each. It'd be amazing. I'm there.
The Odyssey.
Well, that was one of the
I
things.
don't know. I feel like this because it's based on something so familiar, but like I don't know. It's slightly childish in its take of it, which is okay, and it serves its purpose as a cartoon. But I feel because it's like The Witcher, super grown up, and you could make a grown up version of this now, but I feel like a lot of people would still complain because it worked so well as a kids show.
I would love a dark and gritty. I say that every
It
time
would
we
be
mention.
cool.
Every time we mention a remake, I say that, but I would love. It would be amazing with a proper scary robot squid cyclops thing, and we haven't talked about the cultists,
Oh yeah.
the people that worship the cyclops. So the cyclops kidnaps the children. The worshippers of the cyclops kidnap the children because they're going to offer them up as sacrifices to the cyclops, who will suck out their essence, pretty things, and then use it to give his followers sight, because they've got no eyes. There's just a crystal where their eye, one crystal in the middle where their eye would be, and he kind of bestows his power upon them, and they can all see. Apart from that, they look like goblins. I don't know what they would like to look at each other for, but yeah, and they're obviously evil because they're. I'll get you, Skeletor. I mean, he has
Because they wear dark cloaks and hoods over their heads.
that, and they kidnap children, which is quite sinister.
They're just bad.
They are bad. There's no redeeming quality to them. I like a slightly more nuanced bad guy for the remake.
Okay. I did find out that the one that he encounters in the Odyssey is the son of Poseidon.
Yeah, there you go. I thought it was.
Just that one specifically.
As bad guys go, I think. Well, it didn't really do anything, did it? The Cyclops. It was kind of
Cyclops.
there. Yeah,
It was a tripod.
It was just kind of there, and it shot lasers out of its eye. Now the size of that thing. So, he goes down there to rescue them, and he takes No with him because why wouldn't you take a small toy robot with you? And then it's firing all its powers at Ulysses, but he's got his laser shield out and he's hiding behind it. And he's like, oh, and he goes to get something. I can't remember what it was, a probe of some sort, and he gets the radar dish on it, and the Cyclops is like zapping laser beams at this little robot. Now, the size of the Cyclops and the obviously inherent power that it's got because it controls like this planet, and it can't zap a small robot. Because in the end, he then redirects its power. It catches it in its like little satellite dish, and No redirects the power back into the Cyclops' eye, and he defeats the Cyclops that way. Surely, if it was that powerful, that laser beam would have just melted the thing and fried. No. I mean, it wouldn't have made the show particularly interesting because the robot would have died straight away.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like. I'm pretty sure that's like reflective of it's kind of a telling on like the Greek style of things, using its power against it.
Yeah,
the sort of Medusa style. I'm fairly certain something like that happened with the Cyclops as well, didn't it?
No, that was Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa did it.
He showed his mirrored shield, and she turned herself to stone.
But the reason why he couldn't get No is because he was small and fast. It's like when you say, when he's shooting a machine gun and you're like trying to get something, if it's small and fast and you're far away, you're always going to miss it, aren't you? You'd have to be really clever, and with a sniper rifle you can get it.
That just means you're not using enough bullets. Victory through superior firepower.
Well, obviously his wasn't superior.
Well, yeah, this is what I mean. He can't be that powerful if he gets taken out by a small novelty toy.
Well, it's not a novelty toy. It's a robot.
It popped out of a cake. It's a novelty toy.
Is that the same for girls when they pop out of cakes? Are they novelty toys as well?
Yes. Why are they popping out of a cake if they're not? They're obviously a novelty.
Well, yeah, they're a novelty.
Maybe not a toy.
No.
I did write down that the Cyclops is kind of ugly, and I love it.
Stupid looking.
It is a bit dumb.
Well, yeah, it's stupid.
But
I dug it.
Like how intense it was.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I liked that after it shot its laser or whatever it the first time, its eye got all bloodshot. I was like, oh, so it's using up its power.
Yeah.
Then he has to suck some out of one of the kids.
Sounds grim.
I mean,
I was also a bit confused. Why did her brother is obviously not a child, so why is he there?
I think he's an old child.
He's
14 or 15.
All right, how old do we reckon Telemachus is? 14? 15?
No, I would have said
13?
10 or 11.
Yeah. 12. I'll go 12.
I wouldn't say 10 slightly. Maybe between 10 and 12. I'll give you that.
We're talking about 1980s 10-year-olds, not now.
We're also talking about ancient Greek.
Yeah.
And space.
10-year-olds of old were not 10-year-olds like you get now. No. Little babies.
No. All right, so Yumi was, what, 6, 7?
No, I probably would have said she was a bit older. She was about 9.
I don't know.
I think there's only
Telemachus, so.
Yeah, I think there's only maybe a year or two between the two of them, if that.
Oh, no,
if they're not the same age, I'd be surprised because he's a boy, so he's going to be taller, and she's a little alien girl, so she's going to be smaller, but she's going to be more mature because she's a girl.
So working on those, then that makes Yumi's brother, Blue Boy, 16?
No, see, I would have put him at least 18, 19.
Nah, I'll give you 16.
No, I'd say he's 15.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get why he was there, because he was not a child. They weren't going to get much essence out of him because he's already got it out of himself.
It's a teenage boy.
Exactly, that's where I was going.
He's a teenage boy. He's full of essence, unfortunately.
Exactly, he's got it out of him. Oh, shut up.
I forgot to say, somebody sent us a message.
Did
Okay.
they? Sorry, my face is exploding.
Yeah, I know. I was just waiting for that to end. Yeah, somebody got in contact via Facebook. Hello, Alison. How are you? And
Yeah.
she just thought it was funny how Jeremy manages to. He's really adamant about the decline of modern music is tied to 80s pop music. She thought that was funny. She obviously watched Gem and the Holograms or listened to the Gem and the Holograms episode. So thank you, Alison. If anyone else wants to drop a little comment in and tell us how obvious Jeremy's being about his musical tastes.
Hey, I didn't say I didn't like it.
Just said he's responsible for.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Did anyone notice that at the end? Now, I will say that I reasonably confident say I've watched all 26 episodes of this, and in the end credits, it was a 3-panel thing. You've got some like planets and things and space, and then you've got a weird color, and then you've got No and some robots marching.
Yeah.
And I remember it. I wouldn't have remembered this until I watched it, but I remember being really frustrated as a kid because at no point are those robots in any of the shows. And it was really frustrating that where do they come from? Why is he marching with them? What is the point of this? I want these robots. Where are the robots?
Oh, yeah.
No, I was the only one that noticed that, wasn't
I didn't see
No.
that.
They weren't in the first episode. I assumed they would be in another
Nope.
episode.
They're not in any of them. I find it
It's
really
okay. They
annoying.
look really dumb, and I hate the part of the song that has them singing in it. It really irritates me. Can't stand his voice.
No.
Huh.
I was massively surprised, and please, if anyone out there can prove me wrong, I couldn't find any video games for Ulysses 31. I couldn't find any board games.
You noticed that someone was remastering it on YouTube.
Yes, I did see that. No board games, no video games. If anyone would like to prove me wrong, please tell me because I would love to have a look. There was inevitably a toy line released by a company called Poppy Bandai, who I assume are a subsidiary of Bandai. They did a line of boxed action figures in 1981, which covered the Odysseus crew, and they followed up with a line of smaller figures on blister packs, a la Star Wars, in 1986. They also released a really cool, and I wouldn't mind owning one, hint hint nudge nudge, some die-cast metal spaceships, including the Odyssey. And it was probably about 6 inches across. It was cool.
You have a 3D printer, Henry.
I
You not print one.
Did you not have any of these toys?
No, I did not.
That's a surprise because you
It
had
does-
all of the toys.
I would have been about 10 when this came out in the UK, and that was He-Man.
Right.
Star Wars and He-Man. I had all of the He-Man figures. I had a Castle Grayskull. I had the cats. I had the vehicles. I had everything.
I found some
10.
artwork for a Ulysses 31 MSX game that never existed. But it looks really cool. It's
See,
like
this-
concept art for
It would
the
be a great
show.
game because you could do the whole.
Like it's in a really Japanese style.
It was a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was right. Ulysses 31 was a French language comic book which was released in the same year that the show came out, and it is just the continuing adventures of in a very classic style. And then Littlehampton Book Services Limited, who I joked about because they published Mary Mungo and Midge stuff back in the 60s. In 1985 released a hardback illustrated storybook, which is a bit of a collector's item, and about 35-40 quid for a book today. But this leads me into the point. So this is it's an iconic TV show. Anyone from my generation, or not anyone, but a reasonable proportion will remember the song. Oh yeah, they'll remember it. Okay. No one else seems to have heard of it. I always spend some time and I get some trivia and I have a look and I do up a reading on the show. There's nothing out there. Usually I just do a search for, like for example, Ulysses 31 comics, and then I will find a website and I'll do some research on that and I'll roll this. Apart from eBay listings for actual comics, I could find no information. nothing. As even the toys, there's whole toy websites set up for, and they list the part numbers and category numbers. I couldn't find anything. I could find no information on these toys. It was really strange. Please, if anyone out there has any info on this, please let me know, because I would love to read about it. It's a little
Perhaps
strange.
it's slightly more French orientated, because like
I would still expect to find they have websites in France, so I would expect to find this stuff.
Yeah. But the way that Google works, it won't offer you French stuff because you're speaking English.
This is true. I mean, I even tried
Nosy.
I tried the French spelling of it. I tried all kinds of stuff, because France is a big comic book country. It's a big thing over there. So I wasn't surprised to find it over there. But yeah, there's just not a lot of information out there. And then it kind of appeared, was really cool, was really influential, and then just disappeared to live on in the memory of people who watched it, which I find really strange.
Yeah. I preferred this getting a redo of a series on Netflix rather than He-Man.
So, yeah. He-Man was of a time. We don't need to see any more of it. I follow a Twitter account called Grumpy Skeletor, which is just him slagging off He-Man. Basically, it's brilliant.
That's great.
So, would you recommend this, Jeremy? Would you recommend this? So you're sat around with your friends, and this came on. Would you bully them into watching it?
Now, my housemate is from Italy, which you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call him out here. My housemate's from Italy. In Italy, I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but they're about 10 years behind, nearly 20 years behind in the shows that they show to kids, at least, like cartoons, because they buy the stuff afterwards.
Right.
He's the same age as me, and he grew up on the 80s cartoons, like way older than I did. So he knows He-Man, and he knows Thundercats. He knows a lot of the stuff we've covered already. I think Jason the Wheeled Warriors he knew.
So what you're saying
he
is
didn't
he
know
had a
this.
great childhood.
Yeah.
he
didn't know this.
Yeah, see, that's what this is what I mean. It kind of came out, it was really big, and it was just... I don't get it.
Because I've even showed him the theme song. He's like, this sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think I've ever watched it. Like, possibly. But no. I might show it to him.
I think you should. I'd love to know his reaction. But would you recommend this to someone?
Only if they were a child of the 80s, yeah.
Jennifer.
Like, yeah.
Would you recommend this?
Yeah. Yeah, probably if I had some mates who'd got... I don't want it to sound sexist, but I mean, well, if they've got some girl, if they had a girl that was a bit more like less Barbie,
right,
but more into sci-fi and stuff
it's okay.
a bit more.
You can say that you're a girl.
Yeah. And same with a boy. Not all boys are into sci-fi. Some of them like tractors and stuff. But so, like, but you know what I mean. So if I knew that they had
like tractors,
it's like, yeah. And if they had kids that were like into sci-fi and cool things, and they'd like perhaps already watched Thundercats and thought that was really cool, or they've watched something along those lines, and yeah, I would say yeah, you should check out Ulysses 31. I think you'd like it. But I think I'd probably have to think about who it was.
Oh yeah, I do think that probably a boy more than a girl, but that I still think a girl could enjoy this, and I think if they're around the 12 age mark, 12, 11, that would be great. This, around the same time that this is going to start watching Gargoyles.
I think this should be a required viewing along with Nightmare, Trapdoor, and Gargoyles.
I definitely
in that order.
Yeah, I definitely can see groups of 20-something uni students all stoned out of their skull watching this at 2:00 in the morning.
But you say
and thinking it was freaking amazing.
You say that about every show, though. As much as I say that I like some dark and gritty remakes, you say that a bunch of 20.
To be honest, though, she's not wrong.
I didn't say about Mary Mungo and Midge.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I want a dark, gritty remake of Mary Mungo and Midge.
Yeah, you wanted one where she was actually the son
She's
of the
actually
daughter of
child
Satan.
Yes, there you go.
She's actually the
The
omen.
Antichrist. Yeah.
So let's rate this. I'm interested to see how you guys rated this show. So out of 10, what rating would you give this, Jennifer?
Probably a 7.
Okay, that's quite high.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed watching it. I'd probably enjoy watching the rest of them. It's got a lot of that is because the theme tune is freaking awesome.
We have been singing it all day in the last couple of days. Yeah, and I'm sure we will carry on tomorrow.
Ulysses. Yeah. So 7 for me.
Jeremy.
7.89749.
So 10.
Yeah, 7.8.
7.8, I think.
No, 8.
Sure.
Yes, I've changed my mind. I want 8 now. I enjoyed it. Why not?
Why not is not a good enough reason.
I say why not in the sense that it, like, there's very few flaws with it apart from it's a bit cheesy at points, and no is annoying.
See, I didn't find him annoying.
He wasn't the most annoying we've encountered so far in the show.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not as annoying as Uni.
sidekicks. No. Well, I didn't mind
we-
her too much, to be fair. She didn't say anything.
She really didn't. She was just kind of there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm giving it a 7.1. So we've all agreed on that one.
I gave it higher than you.
You did, yeah.
Oh, whoa.
There was.
I
I
didn't even
thought
like
this
it
was your favourite.
Well, it's not Nightmare. Well, steady on.
You give Nightmare like an 11.
Can I do that? Could I go back? Well, so that gives it a rounded average between the three of us. That gives it a rating of 7.4, which is, it's going to put it up there. That's top 3, top 4 level, that is. Any other thoughts, comments on Ulysses 31?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Well, apart from gods are bastards, but
Yeah, but that's the essential truth of Greek mythology.
Yeah,
It's the
I appreciate
the
that.
gods are bastards.
I like the idea of the gods being in control of more than just Earth and being like not bound by Earth; they're in space instead, which is
I think
much bigger.
I think it was great. It was a wonderful idea.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is this still set in our universe, like
Yes.
our world?
Yeah, 31st century.
Because, but like, he says like, so they have Troy and they have Telemachus and they have everything specific. It just so happens that history repeated itself because he said like Greek gods. What? This is the 31st century. It's like, have they always been a thing?
No,
Like,
well, his surprise.
what's the context?
I think his surprise was like, but they're the Greek gods. They all know about the Greek gods, despite it being the 31st century, and can recognise them on sight.
Yeah. Hey, Zeus.
I think it was just I think it's our universe just Greek godded up. I don't know how to put it.
Slightly altered, yeah.
That was Ulysses 31. And it's going to be our next episode is going to be a mystery because I forgot to look at the schedule before we started. So we'll let you know, but join us for the next one. As we're watching these shows, all three of us make notes, and I put those notes up on our website under the blog section if you'd like to go check them out, and you can see our raw, unfiltered thoughts as we're watching it. My favourite one from Mary, Mungo and Midge was it just says, "Cheeky mouse, old man Doug, Mary is stoned," which I think was one of yours. It was one of Jennifer's. Yep. If you'd like to take like I said, if you'd like to take a look at our show notes, they are on our website on the blog section, along with our back of the box cards, where we rate those. We rate the shows a bit more in depth in our YouTube after show. So head over there and have a look. If you'd like to get in touch, you can do so like Alison. Thank you, Alison. Via Facebook or Instagram or on our website, or leave us a voicemail. I'm going to keep saying this, people, till you start talking to us.
Yeah, come on. We've nearly got 1,000 views.
Yes, we have. We're listens.
Listen, sorry.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And we'll catch you on the next time. Bye.
Bye.
Ulysses.
And we are clear, and I love that song.
I'm still listening to it.
It's in my head, man. It's in my soul.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a great song.
Gonna stop the recording. Stop. There we go. Excellent stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It is seriously one of the best theme tunes we've had.
Oh, yeah.
If not the
100%.
best. Yeah, I can't think of anyone who I've enjoyed more.
Trapdoor was pretty good.
Don't you open that trap door.
Trapdoor.
'Cause there's something down
Something
there.
down there.
Right. So, as I said, we're going to rate the show real quick.
Welcome to the after show.
Welcome to the after show. This is just for you, YouTube. Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
We're here for you, YouTube. Oh, I've punched my microphone. I managed not to do that the whole episode, and then I punch it.
Yeah, me too. I'm impressed.
Of course, Jennifer may have coughed all over hers at some point in the show.
Yeah.
I did move away as I coughed.
There's Rona all over hers.
I've been drinking.
Well, it's mine.
I've been drinking all the way through that. I was trying not to gulp in the microphone.
I'm surprised you haven't burped.
Oh yeah, I'm going to rupture something at some point. It's going to be
Mr.
a wild night.
I don't understand why when we're doing that, I can't stop yawning.
Yeah, I know.
You're not the only one. I'm sat here watching you both. I'm like looking at your tonsils.
My
most
face
of
is
the
like-
episode.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why I get. I'm not tired.
It's not.
I
it's-
am.
Can't stop yawning.
I can't remember which episode it was, but there was the one that Jeremy looked like he was literally going to sleep.
There was one where I nearly fell
He
asleep.
was just he's like, he hasn't moved. I was waffling on about something, and he was sat there like, he hasn't actually moved for 60 seconds, and your eyes were
Yeah.
doing that thing.
It might have been Jace, to be honest.
I think it might have been.
I was so tired.
And I was like, I was like waving my hands at the camera, I'm like, I can't say anything because we're in the middle of a recording.
Yeah.
So just
You should clip it.
call you like on my phone, like just keep it off camera and dial it.
You just go. What do you think, Jeremy?
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah. Okay.
Right, let's rate this thing. Let's rate this bad boy. Jennifer. Once you're
Yep.
done yawning,
Don't know what it is.
what did you think of the theme? The opening credits, the theme song, however you want to rate that.
The theme. Well, we could go down that way, or do you mean the theme that it's a Greek
No, this is the music, the opening
tunes?
Tunes.
Oh, and what's this out of 100?
100, yep.
99.
99. I have just adjusted mine up again. I think I'm going to go again.
You actually giving it 99?
Yep. I think it's an awesome theme track. It's the best one we've listened to so far, and I love love German holograms. But
It's close.
Go on, Jeremy.
Ulysses.
I'm gonna give it an 82.
An 82.
Mm.
Okay. So you liked it, just not as much as Jennifer.
I mean, yeah, it's not
I
as good as
can't give
Trapdoor, but
a theme song everything yet. Not for me.
Well, that's why I didn't get 100 because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but one off.
yeah, you might as well have. I gave it a 90 because it's just good.
I think this might now be the
easily the highest run we've had.
yeah.
So let me say 3 scores divided by 3 gives it a final rating of 90, which is easily the
Bloody
highest we've had
hell.
so far.
I think Trapdoor's only in the 80s.
I don't know what it is about it. It's just good.
I love it even more because I've just we watched Phil Schofield and Go for the.
Oh, yeah, there's right. You know who Philip Schofield is, right, Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know who Gordon the Gopher is?
No.
So back in the 80s, Philip Schofield was a children's television presenter, but he did the interstitials. He did the links between shows, and he was
in a broom cupboard.
He was in the cupboard before he came out of the cupboard.
Yeah.
And he had a little puppet friend called Gordon the Gopher, and there's video of him on YouTube of him and Gordon the Gopher miming along to the theme song to Ulysses 31, and it's
Really?
quite cringe.
Mildly hilarious.
Cringe.
You probably saw it when it came out as well.
Oh yeah.
I must have done.
We watched because honestly, Phil and what was the blonde bloke that followed him afterwards, or did it before? That was actually more. That was just as entertaining as the kids' TV show in the broom cupboard.
Yeah, Gordon the Gopher was a little
Gordon
shit.
Gopher was hilarious. I mean, he was like a huge star, Gordon, and he was bloody puppet.
He was genuinely.
He's a puppet.
Is that Basil Brush?
Yeah. See, Basil Brush is a bit older, but yeah.
Basil Brush is the man, even though he's a fox.
Yes. We need to watch that soon.
It's on the list of 9 billion shows that we have. So that's 90 for the theme, which I'm fairly certain is the highest we've ever had, which takes us on to weirdness. I didn't find it that weird, to be honest. It was what it was.
Some weird bits.
Well, I gave a 19 for weirdness because I did not find it weird. Beyond the fact it was Greek tragedy in space, which is why it got 19 points.
Yeah, I don't think it's
It's that weird either. I mean, 20.
Boring.
Oh God, I can't stop yawning. Yeah, probably 20 because a Greek tragedy for a kids' TV show is a bit weird, but this is the 80s.
It's a good idea, but yeah, there was nothing I found it particularly weird. It's a cartoon, so you're expecting blue-skinned people, you're expecting funky monsters,
Space aliens.
That's where Daft Punk comes from.
Oh, it has very Daft Punk feel.
Oh, the cartoon. Wow.
The aliens. Do you reckon it's connected?
No, see, because when I watch the Daft Punk music videos, they look a lot like Battle of the Planets.
Yes, but
They
these guys do.
But they're blue and they're blonde. And they're from a planet called Zoltar or something.
I think
Zoltra.
it's all connected, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. When did you say this came out in the UK?
Mid-80s it would have been.
Yeah, so Philip didn't start doing it until September 1985. So it must have been really close when he started doing it and Ulysses came
It
out.
could have been 86, mid-80s. I mean, yeah, but yeah, it wasn't. He wouldn't have been around long.
It was Andy Crane
Andy Crane.
who did it. So Philip did it first, then Andy Crane, then Andy Peters,
Yep.
and then Zoe Ball.
I don't
She
remember-
apparently did it
I
as
don't
well.
remember Zoe Ball doing it.
She didn't. It wasn't on for very long.
So for weirdness, that's a 19 from me, a 20 from Jennifer. Jeremy?
32.
32. So you found it slightly weird.
blue-
indeed.
The blue people are weird, and the Cyclops is strange, and the cultists are a bit weird too.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Well, I'm not going back. I'm not going back and changing my score now.
And the crew is uncomfortable, even more so when they're alive.
One day I shall learn how to use a calculator.
That would be helpful.
Yes. All right. There we go. So divide that by that. So that gives it a rating of 24, which that's not going to win any prizes, but it's I think it's quite standard for the shows we watch.
Yep.
Education. Jeremy, you can go first this time.
Education. Don't kill things that try to kill you, because Zeus is gonna slap you in the ass.
Okay.
Suck you through a wormhole in space. Plus, I mean, they went through a black hole.
They did.
They didn't die.
That's because it's not really a black hole, it's the god's butthole.
Yes.
It's the entrance
other
to
end
the
of Zeus.
universe of Olympus. Oh, wait, so they got sucked into a completely different reality.
I thought so, but I think it's just in a different place.
But it's a universe.
That's what they call it. But then they also call it, like, they still say that they can get home.
And well, yes, because they've got to travel. They've got to find and travel through Hades to get home.
Yeah.
The river Styx.
I think they're a different dimension.
This would have been really hard for the original Ulysses.
Well, yeah, because it's in space for a start.
It's in space.
They would have all died.
I think that I'm gonna give this a 14 for education.
Okay, Jennifer,
I'm going to give it a 20 for education as well,
why?
because you're learning something from your Greek tragedies. I mean, having done
That's a
Latin
good
and
point.
Greek and stuff in school back,
Literature.
when we used to use slate and chalks. You did all that, and then, you got a bit of literature. I mean, yeah, okay, it was never in space, but you still got some of it. I suppose you get a bit of space action. I'm sure there's more education. I mean, it wasn't that educational, but it's get a 20.
Yeah, I gave it a 23 just because it is a retelling of a Greek tragedy, and then without realizing it, some kid's going to watch all of that and then find the Greek tragedies when I can't say that word. Tragedies when they're older and go, hang on, I recognise this bit. Where's the laser sword though? I don't remember the laser sword.
Yeah.
So that gives it an overall
Watch
rating
Jason and the
of
Argonauts.
19 for education, which is what I expected. Nothing unusual there. Now this is going to be an interesting one. Impact. Just for clarity, impact is however you want to interpret it, whether it's impact on popular culture, personal impact, whatever you want. I'll go first. I think I usually do for
Okay.
impact anyway. I love this show. I have very fond memories of it, but I never had T-shirts. I never wanted the toys. It was just something I really enjoyed watching it, and I really enjoyed watching it this time. So you might, as excited I've been about it, you might expect like a really high rating, but I'm just going to give it a 40 because it's strangely absent from the world. I would expect to find more things out there. If I wore a Ulysses 31 T-shirt, how many people would actually get what it was?
I reckon that a lot more. However, they just don't exist.
What, the T-shirts?
I reckon
there are T-shirts.
Yeah.
I've had
But I bet they're hard to come by.
yeah, and it's odd. It's an odd one, this one. So I gave it a 40 because
It would be our age group and then a certain group of our age group as well. I mean, some of my friends that are girls, they wouldn't remember this at all, but I can probably 99% of the boys did.
yes, yeah,
But yeah, so you gave him a 19. Did you say
40.
90? 40.
40.
I'm probably going to give it 35 because at the time I remember it being quite people talking about it at school, and and it was because it was a little bit different as well. And I mean, and the old Phil Schofield and that singing it at the time, that thing it did. But you're right, it's nothing since. It's not like Trapdoor or Count Duckula or any of the other things that we watched when we were younger.
that's true. If I walked into my office at work and started singing, if I said, "Don't you open that most of the room, a lot of the room would go trapdoor. Or
Door, yeah.
If I went in and started going Ulysses, I'd just get looked at.
Yeah, I think there's only one
Maybe.
person who would get that, and then I'm not even sure he would. Nobody else in my office would get Ulysses.
So that's 40 from me, 35 from Jen. Jeremy?
Henry,
Jeremy.
would you say that this inspired you to what your enjoyment of Star Trek and Babylon 5?
No, Star Wars did.
Okay. When did you read Dune?
I was 15 when I read Dune, so that would have been...
Did this inspire anything?
No, not really.
Your interest in space at all?
No, it was just kind of... It was part of that circle of interest that was Star Wars, anything based in space, laser swords.
10-year-old Henry.
Yeah, it was just in my wheelhouse. It was just, this is cool. And I think,
Well, fair enough.
I wouldn't have been able to articulate it at the time, but the Greek gods, that whole thing, that would have hooked me. I would have found that interesting. I don't think I would have known that at the time, but now, that's what interests me now. It's like this. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
Yeah, but no, I don't think.
Unfortunately, it slightly gets lost.
But you've got to remember as well, back in the 80s, we were taught about Greek gods, whereas these days, can you remember being taught about Greek gods, Jeremy, at school?
Ancient Greece, and maybe had one lesson on the gods, but yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Talking about primary school, if I spoke to Harry,
Yeah.
you know. Whereas we definitely were.
we're old enough that we had classics teachers.
Yes,
In the
that's what I was
first-
I
saying
would have
earlier.
loved to have been taught classics.
Well,
Like,
poor
I
old
would have
Mr.
loved to have
Mills.
studied the
Not by
Odyssey.
our teacher, no.
He was like all classics teachers in the 80s. Drunk.
I'll tell you what it was. Yeah, I'll tell you what it was like later. So what's your rating for Impact?
Oh, I haven't said it
You
yet.
haven't. No, we're waiting patiently.
Yeah, but I don't know, 45.
45. We're all agreeing too much.
We did that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, we brought
think the same.
we brought Jennifer in to kind of like offer up a dissenting voice and mix things up a little bit, and she's just agreeing with us now, which gives it an Impact rating of 40. Which is so. Again, if you get this card in the game, theme's the big one. That's going to get you for it.
Yes.
Right, now we're in the after show. I can actually, if you'd like to talk amongst yourselves for a minute, I will go and find out what we're watching next time.
Yes. Please do.
I think it's another one of my choices. Well, I'm due it.
Was it not Bill and Ben?
Did we agree? Did we? Is that in this series? Are
I
we
think
watching
it. Yeah. But I think it is your choice next, and then it's Bill and Ben, and then, like, the last one is.
We've got 3 each.
Four
3
each.
each.
4 each.
4 each.
Sorry, just bear with. I'm getting. Oh my god, the glare off my screen.
I'm really trying to remember.
I have no idea.
Well,
I have no
I'm
idea.
going to be there in a second. Right, so YouTubers, you've got to remember we've got an audience here. People, entertain them. Jeremy dance or make animal noises.
Ulysses.
Oh my god, this list is so long. Hey, it's the Flower Pot Men. Yes, no, you're right. It's not one of mine.
Hey,
That's yours.
I thought it was yours next. It's
Yeah.
mine.
And then 1, 2, 3. We are officially just over halfway through the season.
Wait, we're only halfway through the series.
This was our 7th episode of the series. This was episode 19.
I feel like we've been
still
nearly the end of it.
We've still got 5 left.
Fair.
And I'm not going to tell you what they are. So Flower Pot Men next week, which is Jeremy's choice, and then you've got 2 more of mine, one of Jennifer's, and then we're finishing off on Jeremy's choice, which is an excellent choice. I'm not going to tell. No,
Oh,
they
I
can-
remember what that is.
They can wait and see.
Yeah, I remember what that is.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the if you're a YouTuber. Our episode is our full episode, our proper episode, will come out on Saturday. So take a look at that. Get in touch. I have many questions about Ulysses 31. If you remember the show, if you remember the comics, if you remember the books, get in touch. Let us know what you think, and we will catch up next time. So thank you very much. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
You're welcome.
Thank you, serial viewers. Stay beautiful.
Thanks for listening.
Stay viewing.